718, Adam Calvert calling in, my cousin Adam. Adam, how are you, sir?
Great. How you guys doing?
Good. Can I have $1,000?
No, sorry, not.
Oh, damn it.
What do you need $1,000 for?
I don't know. Thought I'd ask. I've started just asking everyone that I meet for $1,000. Plus, you're a man of considerable fortune because you are a lawyer. So, did you? I think we talked about this last week, and you said how you got into law for the money, which I don't blame you for at all.
I actually do enjoy doing it.
Okay, but it's also, how much of it, when you were deciding that you wanted to be a lawyer, how much of your considerations and weighing the pros and cons, how much did money factor in percentage-wise? Was it like a 45% factor in your ultimate decision or more or less?
Probably, 45 is pretty accurate, I'd say.
45%? Okay, good, yeah.
Well, and not all lawyers are successful, so don't you kind of have to almost be guaranteed in your mind that you're going to make a lot of money because you got a lot of bills still left to pay, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not a rich man by any means, but of course I did want a job with financial stability. I'm not going to be a gazillionaire being a lawyer, but
Right.
It's a good job.
Wait, hold on a second. You say you're not a rich man, but do you have a washer and dryer in your apartment?
No, I do not.
Oh,
Look at that.
wow. Okay, hey, you and me on this. So you have to go to the laundromat, don't you?
Yep.
That sucks, dude. Isn't that one of the worst? Like, you dread that for like 3 days ahead of time, don't you?
Oh yeah, I wish I had like an iPad or something to do there, but I don't know. It's just I do not like the laundromat.
Yeah, but you don't have a car in the city either, do you?
No, so I actually have to physically carry my stuff to the laundromat too.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
I know.
All your
If I was
unmentionables.
so rich, I think I'd have somebody that could do that for me.
That's a good point. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, dude, but I'm in your camp, man.
You have a dishwasher? I don't have a dishwasher.
No, I don't.
He throws it. Here's what he does. He loads his dishes into this thing. Now that he's got a fiancée, he doesn't do this quite as much. But he used to put his dishes in the sink and until they got moldy, and then he'd throw them away.
Yeah. But I can't do that anymore because I get in trouble because she'll come down and she'll be like, "Where's that bowl we had?" It was stolen. My landlord took it. Why'd he take your bowl? I don't know. He does that sometimes. I don't ask any questions.
You gotta get some new locks to that door. All right. Well, this story now it actually I will say there's a sexual assault in here, but it just does raise some questions about online dating sites, and I'm just going to read from the story here. Millions of people swear by online dating sites like Match.com, but a California entertainment executive claims the website is responsible for her sexual attack. The woman, publicly identified as Jane Doe, is filing a civil lawsuit asking a court to force Match.com to install a sex offender screening program that scans a member's background when signing up for the website. The lawsuit asks for a temporary restraining order that would prevent new members from signing up until Match.com has the program installed. Basically, what they want to have happen is when somebody goes to pay with their credit card, they want it to run a background check and run it through the sexual offender database. However, an attorney from Match.com told reporters outside of the news conference that setting up such a screening process is not possible. The lawsuit maintains that the man in question in the sexual assault went to Jane Doe's house after they had dinner. So she let him into the house after they had dinner, and he forced her to perform a sexual act. According to Match.com, it tells the members to check out a safety tip section on the site, and it's their sole responsibility to screen the members that they go out on dates with, and they're not responsible for anything that happens after that. Match.com, they're sensitive to this. They said while instances like this between individuals that meet are extremely rare, it does not make them any less horrifying. So she's not asking for any money, but she is asking for a dramatic change to the way Match.com and basically other sites run their business. Does she have a case in this? Will this go forward? Is this something that the courts will decide on?
Well, I don't think she has a great case. Common sense-wise, I think she's got a good case. There is the federal database for sex offenders. How hard would it actually be for a company like Match.com, who has considerable money, considerable resources, to just run a name through the search when you sign up? If Match.com starts doing that, then it kind of opens up a whole other can of worms, because then Match.com is almost saying, hey, we screened this guy, he's okay. And, well, things are going to slip through the cracks, so then you're going to have a whole other host of lawsuits when Match.com doesn't catch a sex offender or somebody, sexually assault somebody else on a date. They're going to say Match.com should have caught that. They have screening processes in place to do this. And so once you start doing it, then it becomes a problem of, well, now you said you're going to do it, so you got to do it fully.
Well, doesn't this in a way, I'm not sure, so I'm asking, does this violate the rights of everyone else that's not on the sex offender registry? Because you're essentially saying that by signing up for the site, we're going to go do a full background check on who you are, but only, so it's kind of like you're punishing the many to try to catch the few. I mean, is it a violation of anybody else's rights?
No, I don't think so, because they actually, Match.com actually encourages the users to do a background check of people they're going to meet or have met on the site. So I don't see why Match.com running the search is anything that's an invasion of your privacy. I mean, Match.com or whoever could run a search and do a background check on whoever they want. That's not invading that person's privacy.
But is it Match.com's responsibility? Because essentially what the site does is it allows you to create a profile and, put it on the web, and then people can go through and decide. Basically, it's kind of like the internet's way of meeting someone on the street. And I would imagine that websites are not responsible for figuring out the backgrounds of people that you would meet on the street. So it's just a tool to meet someone. So is it their responsibility? Should they be held accountable because someone's a scumbag? Otherwise, who's responsible if you meet a scumbag walking down the road?
Well, exactly. Or if you meet them in a bar, are you going to sue the bartender or the bar because they didn't screen people coming in? It's your responsibility, and the site says so. I mean, if you read the rules and you read the tips that they have on the site, it clearly says that you've got to look out for these kind of things, and it gives all sorts of ways to be careful about it. And those things are a lot more effective than than Match.com screening people beforehand. And I would argue that if Match.com screens people beforehand, then people are going to be lulled into a false sense of security about who they're talking with or meeting online.
Right.
And you're probably going to have more instances of sexual assault.
Because you're going to assume that everyone you're meeting is absolutely safe. But here's my other question. Is this maybe focused at the wrong area? Shouldn't this maybe be, okay, if you're on the sex offender registry and the state or the federal government saying that you can't do certain things. There's towns that set up you can't live within a certain square footage or yardage from a elementary school or a bus stop. So isn't this a problem with the sex offender registry and not a problem with, say, sites like Match.com? Shouldn't there maybe be something that says, okay, if you're on the sex offender registry, you can't sign up for certain social networking sites? So isn't kind of her anger, I mean, and rightfully so, she's angry and she's allowed to be angry, but isn't it kind of maybe focused in the wrong direction?
Yeah, I think so. But if that's what the goal is, then that's Congress's or your state legislature's job to enact those sort of laws.
Well, I don't really understand.
You shouldn't put the onus on a private company to do the job that you want a law in place to do.
I don't really understand what the issue is here. If you're going to go on a date with someone from Match.com, just check the sex offender registry. Problem solved. They're already online. All you got to do is check the database. It's completely ridiculous to expect Match.com to do a background check on every single person on their site. If you require that, then that's the end of dating sites as we know it, because there's no way you can have a dating site with millions of people and they do background checks on every single one. That's not going to happen. They would have to the amount of manpower they have to hire would make the site not even profitable anymore. And then on the side of the sex offender, the government and all that. I mean, yeah, it probably already is stipulated that they're not supposed to be on dating sites, but it's also hard to regulate that. So, but they are on the sex offender registry. So all you got to do is you have his full name, you know where he lives. If you don't know his full name and where he lives, you shouldn't go out with him. If you do know both those things, it's a really simple thing. It takes like 5 seconds. You go check him out in the sex offender registry. If he's on there, you don't go with him, and if he isn't, then you're good. Problem solved. King Solomon. There we go.
Absolutely. And the thing is, this woman actually went on a date with the guy once, and then she thought he was great, and they went on a second date, and that's when she was sexually assaulted. And after she was sexually assaulted, she got online and looked him up and realized that he was a sex offender. So she had the opportunity between that first and second date, or even before the first date, to look him up, and she didn't take that opportunity. And it was obviously something that's pretty simple for her to do if she did it after she got sexually assaulted. Why should Match.com have to do that? I don't think they should.
Oh, and then a little more abstract argument to be introduced here is, then wouldn't it also almost essentially make Match.com go in and try to weed out all of the lies? I'm going to say about 98% of everyone on these sites have told a lie about themselves in some way. So then couldn't someone then come along after this and say, well, this person said he was an astronaut and he just worked at Wendy's. And so they could say that, well, it's the site's responsibility to go make sure everyone's representing themselves properly. Is there a slippery slope if they did go through and say, yes, that Match.com has to do this?
Absolutely. Because once you start, once Match.com has to start vouching for its members in one area, well, then why not make them vouch for their members in another area? It's not what the site's purpose is. It's not, Match.com isn't a certifier of the people on the site saying, Match.com, I certify that this person is who they say they are, and that they really do like long walks on the beach, and they really are an astronaut and all that stuff. That's not the job of the website.
Because, Matt, didn't you tell Alyssa that you were a chemical engineer and you were responsible for solving many illnesses?
Yeah, but that happens to be true. You really shouldn't. I mean, that kind of lie you're talking about is I don't think a lot of people tell those lies because that's easily discovered. But either the lies the so-called lies on dating sites aren't really lies. They're just the same. It's just the same thing that someone. It's like if you meet someone in real life and they kind of paint themselves in a way that isn't fully. They highlight certain areas while not highlighting others.
Yeah, but the point is that you should get to know the person, and it's your responsibility to know the person before you intrinsically trust them, and it's not the website's responsibility to figure that trust out for you.
All right, Adam Calvert, my cousin Adam, thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Take care.
See ya. Yeah, it's just a good lesson to any women out there using dating sites. I've encouraged it many times. I still do. But they do have the thing called the sex offender registry. Every state has one. You have the guy's full name. You know where he lives. Look him up on the sex offender registry. And if he's on there, I recommend you don't go on the date. That's just my recommendation.
That's a fair recommendation.